Hey everybody, welcome into the Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network. This is March, and I cannot tell you guys how excited I am to welcome into the Big Factor our guy, John Fanta, the king of college basketball. His name is synonymous with March Madness. John, welcome in. Merry Christmas, as we said pre-show. How are you doing today, my man? Thanks for joining us.
Here we go, guys. The madness is here. Cinderellas will be born. Heroes will be made. Shots will be knocked down at the buzzer and beyond. This is it right here. Just rev it up. Buckle your seatbelt. Get ready. You need perseverance. You need intestinal fortitude today. This is going to be a great, great day. I think it is as strong as any day in the sports calendar year because you don't, by the end of it, how many times are you talking about High Point or McNeese State, or another UC San Diego or Yale, or that's the beauty of the madness. It's where the little guy can rise up and become the headline in the most glorious way. It's a one-game playoff across the country. There's nothing like it, and it's great to be joining the Big Factor to start this holiday.
John, I love it. And obviously you just named so many trendy teams that people are going to, be looking at as big upset candidates today. I think I've got McNeese as probably my biggest one penciled into the bracket today. As people are watching, trying to get their brackets straight, tell us about some of your favorite first round upsets to look out for as this tournament gets ready to tip off here.
Well, I think the fascinating 5-12 game is Michigan and UC San Diego. UC San Diego has a kid named Aniwaniwa Tate Jones, who could become a household name by the end of the day. He's a bucket getter. He averages well over 20 points per game. This UC San Diego team, guys, has had a remarkable year. Their first trip to the NCAA tournament, they've only been in Division I a couple of years, 5 years. And they've got a top 30 defense, a top 60 offense. They're highly efficient, and it's not just Tate Jones. I'm telling you right now, this team's got dudes, and they've got matchup problems on the perimeter between Tyler McGee, who averages close to 17 a game. Hayden Gray's an outstanding defensive player. So I'm going to go with UC San Diego to pull that off, but I'm not done yet. I think that we're going to see multiple 11 seeds win in this first round. Give me Drake over Missouri behind Bennett Sturts. Head coach Ben McCollum's done an amazing job with his team. I think that we will see North Carolina keep the run going and beat Ole Miss. After making it into the NCAA tournament, I didn't necessarily agree with their selection to it, but I think they're gonna move on. Since 2018, 11s have been 500 against 6 seeds. So take at least 2 11s. They're 12-12 since 2018. I think that VCU could give BYU a game. In my bracket, I picked BYU. But, guys, I think High Point, a 13 seed, could give Purdue a run for their money. Purdue, Zach Edey's not walking through that door. They've got great perimeter play, but at times they're predictable offensively. And I think that the Panthers, led by a head coach, Alan Huss, who has done a terrific job there, have the firepower, led by Keza Jiffa and a guy who started his career at Kansas, Bobby Pettiford, who's a tough Bulldog guard. So I like High Point. I like Yale over Texas A&M. Give me the Ivy League champions. I always take the Ivy League champ. The last 2 years, the Ivy League champion has won a first-round game, and I am taking the Akron Zips to shock Arizona.
Wow.
Nate and Tavari Johnson, John Gross's offense has been terrific. Arizona sometimes is a victim of their own style where they're so frenetic and whatnot. But you know what? That's not going to faze Akron because Akron's ranked 16th in the country in tempo.
We have to get back to that Akron over Arizona pick, but John, you have deemed the West region the region of death. You have Florida, St. John's, Arkansas, Kansas, and by the way, the back-to-back national champions, UConn and Dan Hurley. While they're not as good as their old squads, you can never count them out. How do you see this West playing out, John?
It's going to be wild, guys. This is just incredible. I mean, you are talking about in the pod alone of John Calipari, Rick Pitino, and Bill Self, right? 2,593 wins, 103 years of head coaching experience, 5 national championships, 17 trips to the Final Four. It's absurd. We've never seen a pod like this in the NCAA tournament in the first round. No way. You got the back-to-back reigning national champion UConn Huskies, who are trying to go for a three-peat. You've got Florida, who's playing the best of anybody going in the tournament. Nobody's hotter than Florida. You've got a dynamic 3 seed in Texas Tech. They're tough. They're long. They've got JT Toppin, who's a stud. Maryland's had a great year. You know, they're feisty, and they got a freshman named Derek Queen, who I love. But St. John's, to be 30-4 and have the number 1 defense in America, and the 4 losses are by a total of 7 points. For them to be a 2 seed in a region with Florida, who's the SEC champion, the SEC was the best conference in college basketball. It is the region of death. I think Florida will win it. But man, anything could happen because all these teams are tough. They defend at a very high level, and they've got a couple of bucket getters, whether it be with Florida, Walter Clayton, St. John's, R.J. Lewis, who has scored 20-plus points in 5 of the last 6 games. Texas Tech has J.T. Toppin. The star power in this is absolutely incredible. I mean, the West region, if you're a coach watching film, you're in the gates of hell this week trying to prep for it.
That's hilarious. So, John, you kind of touched on that St. John's team, Rick Pitino. They've kind of been America's team, I think we can say, is the fair assumption as the brackets start to roll out. Everyone's rooting for Rick Pitino to go get one this year. Who's the Big East program, because you're a Big East guy yourself, that you want to see make that next renaissance back to the top level of the sport?
Well, I think big picture, it's big for Georgetown going forward. To get back on the map under Ed Cooley. You know, what St. John's has done is pretty amazing, and their renaissance is ongoing right now. But I think it's been a long time. I mean, it has been a long time since we talked about Georgetown and their brand and what their impact is. Guys, we're seeing it with St. John's. They got 19,000 plus every night at Madison Square Garden. It's like a Knick playoff game. It's absurd in there. The fans are going crazy. They're drawing tremendously. They play so hard. They play like a New York team. You know, I mean, they have put together one of the most remarkable stories, their best season since 1985. 40 years have passed.
Wow.
Like that was 10 years before I was born. You know, it's been a long, long time. You know, that's all before our time. So I would say Georgetown, because they've been in the basement for so long. Now, they won 8 Big East games this year, and Ed Cooley's got them going in a better direction, I feel. But, you know, I think in Cleveland this weekend, Marquette, they've had a renaissance under Shaka Smart. They made the Sweet 16 for the first time in over a decade. Great guard matchup in Cleveland between Cam Jones and Donovan Dent of New Mexico. Donovan Dent's had an All-American season. So has Cam Jones, averaging about 18 or 19 points and 6 assists per game. So I think you're right. I mean, you know, when you bring up the Big East only has basketball. So these programs, for these schools, this is their baby. This is their everything. That's why, guys, like I'm gonna give it to you real. Last night, when Xavier beats Texas and comes back from 13 down, Xavier quite literally took $2 million, because that's what an NCAA tournament unit is worth. They quite literally took $2 million from the SEC. The SEC's got enough millions.
Yeah.
The Big East doesn't have the college football playoff to go and get itself money. Last night, they got $2 million with a 13-point comeback. This is the business of the tournament that's also fascinating. When the little guy wins, they make $2 million for their league. That can keep a league's pulse going.
I want to touch on that Akron Zips pick real quick, John, before we get you out of here. Obviously, that's a trendy one up here in Northeast Ohio. We saw that MAC tournament final was crazy. They crawled back from down almost 20 points to win that thing at the end on a little floater layup to win it with 2 seconds to go. Tell us why you're so confident in the Zips going in this tournament.
Well, I love the way that they play, and they've got two guys in Tavari Johnson and Isaiah Gray, really, as well as Shama Scott, who can all get hot in a hurry. They're shooting, in the upper 30s from 3. I love that in a team. And I just think that Nate Johnson is so determined right now. This guy's a terrific distributor. He knows how to make plays for his teammates. He's elevating this game tremendously. The last 2 games, he's got 53 points and 11 assists. I'm fascinated to see what Nate can bring to the NCAA tournament floor. Now, the question for Akron is, can they contain Caleb Love? If good game Caleb Love shows up and is rolling and Tobe Awaka's on the offensive glass, it's going to be hard for Akron to win the game. But if you could slow Caleb Love down, make him think when he's on the offensive end of the floor, make him play defense, then I am going to say that the Mid-American champions can pull it off. Coach Gross, again, has done an amazing job, and I think the matchup can fit, provided that Akron hangs in on the glass and doesn't give Arizona extra opportunities. That's the name of the game.
John, I want to flip it over to the East. You got Duke, okay? The big question is Cooper Flagg. You saw the ankle injury. You have an easy first-round matchup against Mount St. Mary's, but then you're either playing Baylor or Mississippi State. When does Duke need Cooper Flagg to come back if they want to be cutting down the nets?
They don't need him until the Sweet 16.
Wow.
And they might not even need him until the Elite 8.
Wow.
That's how good they are, guys. They have a lead guard in Tyrese Proctor, who's their alpha. Sion James has been tremendous for this team. I love the way that he plays the game. And then, Con Knippel has a bit of maniac in him, but in a good way. This kid just plays. He's got an unlimited motor. He's a shot maker. Common Malawatch protects the rim. They're tremendous defensively. And without Flagg, they're not as sharp, but they're still really good. I don't think that Mississippi State or Baylor could pull off an upset over them. I just don't see it. Mississippi State's not good enough offensively. Baylor they don't get stops. They haven't gotten stops all year. I mean, unless they're finding the magic potion this week, they haven't done it the whole year. So here's the thing. Duke is the reason why Duke can win it all and why they should be 1A or 1B to win it all is because it's more than Flagg. He helps them so much. He's an otherworldly player. He's a generational talent. He's generational talent. He is. And a lot of people are like, well, that's ridiculous. Like, what are you saying? He's LeBron James? No. But he's been the clear-cut number 1 pick in the NBA draft for the last 4 years. Like, we have known that he's going to get drafted first in June for 3 or 4 years. The recruiting people called this early on in his high school career. So they don't need him back until the second weekend. I think we'll see him in the second round against Mississippi State or Baylor, and I think Duke will make the Final Four.
John, so one thing that everyone's talking about right now is Louisville. Did they get ranked too low? They're playing at home now. What's going on? If you were at Louisville right now, where's your head at? Are you mad that you didn't get the seed you wanted, or is it a little bit more okay that you're playing in Kentucky this weekend?
No, I'd be ticked that I didn't get the seed I wanted.
Okay.
Because I don't want to have to play Auburn in the second round.
Yeah.
And I thought the committee just missed on that. I thought that was – I mean, I don't understand. You put Carolina in, right? How do you have Carolina in Louisville as an 8? You gave a little respect to the ACC there. Louisville went 27-7. What ACC team has ever gone 27 wins to 7 losses and they're an 8th seed? I just don't. That to me was really puzzling when looking at the Cardinals because they controlled their schedule. They played some quality teams. They're ranked 23rd in KenPom. So from an analytics standpoint, if you were to break it down, 3, 4, they should be on the 6 line. They should be on the 6 line, not the 8 line. I thought they were underseeded, but you got to focus on Creighton. You can't be looking ahead to Auburn. Creighton's tough, man. That team defends. They've got Ryan Kalkbrenner as a rim protector and an outstanding point guard in Stephen Ashworth. You got to refocus. I think Louisville can absolutely win the game because I think they can spread Creighton's defense out. I think they can generate tempo. I think that Chucky Hepburn can have a huge day in this game. Rain Smith can match what Ashworth provides. Should be a great game. I pick Creighton because I think Kalkbrenner is such a matchup problem, but I think it'll be close.
John, it has been nearly 20 years since Florida last cut down the nets. You got to go back to Al Horford and company. And if I'm not mistaken, you have Florida over Houston in the championship in San Antonio. Why is this Florida's year to cut down the nets down in San Antonio?
Well, because they're top 10 in offense and defense. They have an All-American and Walter Clayton. But it's their front line for me. They just never stop rebounding the basketball. They out Tennessee in the SEC championship game. Alex Condon was fantastic. Thomas Hogg makes plays for them. Ruben Chenyolu hustles and gets on it. Elijah Martin was at Florida Atlantic. He transfers to Florida. This kid's a stud. He's a shot maker. He's a perfect Robin to Clayton, who's averaged around 20 a game, several assists. He's just, you can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. So they have multiple bucket getters. They have an elite front court. They defend at a top 10 rate. And right now, they have the number one offense in the sport. What holes do they have? I say none.
And John, the biggest question that we have to ask you as we get you on out of here, if I get that notification, say, from Adam Schefter, Andrew Berry has been replaced by John Fanta, who do the Cleveland Browns take at number 2, and is it a quarterback?
Whew. Well, no question it's a quarterback. But if I'm taking that job, the first thing I'm saying to the other people behind the scenes is, hey, by the way, I'm making the pick, not you. You hired me to do a job, so I'm going to do my job here. I'm not listening to other opinions in the room. You know what, guys? I think that they will take a quarterback, and I would take a quarterback. I think that there's also a bit of a smokescreen here at number 1, and have a gut feeling that the Titans are going to end up taking Cam Ward. With that being said, I'm okay with Shedeur Sanders. I'm willing to draft him. And I know that right now he's as polarizing a prospect as anybody because either you're one way or the other, right? But here's the reason why I'm going to do it. Number 1, I believe that he can have success in structure. I believe he can have success with pass protection. I know what my eyes see. What my eyes see are, yeah, it's great that Deion Sanders coached the team. But he also Shedeur Sanders made a ton of plays to keep his team in the game, to win games, making things happen. Is he as improvisational or as explosive as Cam Ward? No. But a lot of people were talking about Caleb Williams and his ability to create and improv and all that. That could easily go the other way. And a year ago, we weren't talking about Jaden Daniels the way we're talking about him now. You can talk about a player all you want and whether or not they can handle the pressure. I know Shedeur can handle the pressure because he's Deion Sanders' son, and nothing really rattles the kid. When you're 9, 10, 11, 12 years old and people are talking about you, you know. So, to the people out there who are like, he's going to be a bust. Well, here's my answer to that. Until I get this position correct, what else really matters?
Yeah.
Yep.
What else really matters? So if Ward's there at 2, could I watch? I've watched tape of both. I know people are like, oh, there's a pretty sizable gap. How do you know that?
Especially because they haven't played a game in so long. It's been months since either one of them has played a game.
Right. And you know what? If I take Cam Ward, I'm happy. If I get Shedeur Sanders, I'm happy too. And I want to get them into my system. And that's why that's why I should have good coaching and good people in the building. Now that's for another discussion, but that's what I would do.
Yeah. To be seen what the Browns do this April. John Fanta, huge thank you for joining us on The Big Factor. We got to get through March, but eventually our Browns are going to get this right, John.
They will, guys. Keep the faith. We got a big Cavs postseason run. They're going to be in the title contention mix. I'm telling you right now. The Guardians are going to hit the over on their – I saw like 82.5 wins.
Yeah.
Forget it. It's summer in Cleveland. This baseball team will be ready. I think their pitching staff is going to be really good. As long as the back half of the lineup could just piece some things together. And the Browns, it's been a tough time to be a Browns fan. But you know what? I'm glad I don't have to watch the starting quarterback from last year ever again because we aren't going to see him ever again. And frankly, I don't want to see any of them.
It's over. Just rehab videos for him from here on out.
It's over. Just wait for a July Friday when we're all cracking open a Corona and just say, I'm sorry, but he's no longer employed by us. And then I'll do a shot.
Yeah.
John Fanta, ladies and gentlemen. John, thank you so much for popping on The Big Factor with us. Merry Christmas, my friend. Enjoy the binge watching, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. Enjoy the madness, America.
We
Thank you,
shall.
John.
You as well. All right, everybody. That is John Fanta. We're going to take a break when we get back. March Madness is just a little bit away. We're going to break down some more and give our picks when we get back here on The Big Factor. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network. Huge shout out to John Fanta, the king of college basketball. I said his name is synonymous. He knows absolutely everything, and I know right now he is just buzzing because we are just hours away from tip-off of 2025 March Madness. Before we get more into that, we are brought to you today, like we are every single day, by our great friends at Fairway Ford, Ohio. Fairway Ford is the biggest Ford truck dealership in the state. They have the largest selection of Ford F-150s and Super Duty trucks, and I promise you they will not be beat on price by any other Ford dealers. Do not let a short drive to Canfield, Ohio prevent you from saving thousands, yes, that's thousands of dollars on your new truck. Think of all the thousands of money you can save and bet on March Madness, guys. Fairway Ford, the largest inventory of new Ford trucks, lowest pricing, and same hometown level of service. Visit fairwayfordohio.com. That is not gambling advice, by the way.
No, it is
I'm
not.
not telling you
No,
to
it is
gamble.
not.
I'm just saying if you happen to save thousands of dollars from getting your
can
truck
allocate it how you want.
at Fairway Ford, by the way, they deliver to you. One option with those allocated funds, you can bet on some college basketball. Guys, we are just hours
It's an
away.
investment.
I cannot tell you how excited I am for tip-off. First game is what? Creighton and
Louisville. Yeah.
Louisville.
Talking about an 8-9 matchup to start things off. I'm so excited. Nick, what is your favorite game on the slate today? What is your favorite upset it could be, or just your favorite matchup you're looking forward to?
Yeah, well, after talking to John, I think I'm excited for all of them. You know, the first, and can we just appreciate for a moment, like the first, 2 days of March Madness, like these are the 2 days where, you forget about anything else that you've got going on, any responsibilities. Like I straightened up the house yesterday, gonna take the trash out later. That's all I have to do today. And then I'm locking into these games. I agree with John. I'm excited for this 10 o'clock game later tonight, the UC San Diego and Michigan, just because I think UC San Diego is like, one of these fringe schools that has an opportunity to become like the heartthrob of America by the end of the day, and beating, Michigan would be a pretty sweet way to introduce yourself, especially to Cleveland. Not to mention I'm going to San Diego like next week. So I think if they are on a little bit of a Cinderella run, that would be a lot of fun for me personally. So I'm looking forward to that one all the way late, staying up late, 10 o'clock. UC San Diego game is going to be fun.
Jack, yeah, go for it.
I love this Kansas-Arkansas match we got going on
That was mine.
today.
That was mine.
It's not even the game itself, because Kansas was a team who I believe was the preseason #1 in America, fell out of the top 25 for the longest time. Don't even know if they finish in there. Probably not, because of how far seated back they are. But just that possibility of a Calipari-Patino round 2 matchup this weekend, like there will be Italian dinners going on Sunday night across the country, where there's like one like mini screen up in the corner in Little Italy, where on like a phone-sized screen you can see that game going on, and it will be cinema. That's what you ask for.
Yeah, I have Kansas in that game just because
I have Calipari just because I want
I have
it so bad.
Calipari as well. I got Arkansas in that game. I haven't made my bracket yet, but I will have Arkansas.
Yeah, Jack, you are literally doing a buzzer beater bracket.
Yeah.
You have not filled yours out.
No,
I got to do some
I was
edits.
waiting for Fanta, man. I mean, if you
legit,
it's-
I got to do some edits.
Yeah, big time.
My
big time.
so my fantasy football league, the way we decide draft order is we all are in a March Madness bracket, and like so whoever finishes first, they get to pick where they draft first. So I have a lot on the line for my bracket. I'll go Yale, Texas A&M. 7:25 tip off. 13 seed always knocks off a 4 seed. Texas A&M, not a great offense, but they offensive rebound very well. And Yale, the Ivy League, like John said, Ivy League always finds a way. What was it last year? Was Princeton? You have your Harvards. Somehow, some way, the Ivy Leaguers get it done and advance to the round of 32.
I feel like Jack's been saying that all week. You've been big on the Ivy League.
Oh, I love
you
Yale.
Can't sleep. You can't sleep on the Ivy League.
Well, and that's the thing is whenever, and I'll say it again, I'll say it 10 more times before this tournament ends. When you got the underdog, you want to get your rebounds and you don't want to turn the ball over, and those are the two things that those Yale Bulldogs do well. So I'm excited for that one. But I think Friday is gonna be the really fun day, though. We'll talk. Actually, we have a show tomorrow. We have a show tomorrow. I forgot about that.
We'll break down Friday. Last matchup that we have to give a shout out to today, because the social media video is gonna come out at around 3:00 when McNeese, student manager, walks them out for the first time in the tournament. Against number 5 Clemson. I thought that was a tough draw. That's a tougher draw than what I thought they were going to get. I was hoping that they could be one of like the primo upset candidates today. I saw our friend and now new, coworker Gab Gowdy put out that that's her FanDuel upset of the day is McNeese money line. So 3:00.
That's interesting because
where do we buzzing?
Because
Clemson,
Clemson,
I'm betting McNeese.
Because Clemson last year, if you remember, I think they got all the way to like the Elite
good.
Eight. They were really good. They came in and shocked. They beat Auburn this year earlier, I believe. You never know what can happen to the Clemson Tigers. McNeese State, that's probably one of the most popular upset picks. John mentioned it. How about Akron over Arizona?
I was surprised by that because I know Akron's Akron is a really good MAC team. But when you go against Caleb Love and you go against some of the rebounders that Arizona has, like they're gonna look like a MAC team, and I think that's why they're like 7-1 on the money line. And I think they're 15.5 point underdogs. Like I think they could maybe cover that 15.5. Like that's a big number, but I just can't see them hanging with Arizona. Not to mention you have to travel all the way from Akron to Seattle, Washington, which is a big flight.
That's kind of been the region so far that has had the least like storylines and stuff coming out of it. But the one that everyone talks about would be if Caleb Love faced off against Duke one more time on the way out the door. So then you wouldn't even have that happening. So I kind of don't believe in that happening today for Akron, just because I really want to see that Caleb Love matchup going down one more time against Duke.
That
Dude, the
one
one today though. Because John said this too, but everyone and their mother is taking High Point to beat Purdue, and everyone's so down on Purdue that I think Purdue blows their doors off today.
Remember when Purdue, they lost to, what was it, Fairleigh Dickinson?
Fairleigh Dickinson. Yeah,
the 16.
And then they won the championship the next year.
Yeah. Another interesting matchup today, 7:35, Drake and Missouri. Dennis Gates has done a tremendous job of turning that program around. Just a year ago, 0 wins in their conference, and now they're the 6th seed slotted to take on Drake. Drake's 30-3. 11's always knock off the 6. What do you say? 11 and 6s are 50, like batting 500. That's crazy.
Coin flip those. Yeah. Dennis Gates was always such a cool guy. Like, I don't remember if you guys were working here yet, but like when he was the head coach at Cleveland State basketball, like he would always come on Big Play Cleveland. Like he would support, and like even when he wasn't on, he would retweet the stream. Like he was just such a good dude. And he knew that we were fans of Cleveland State basketball. And in turn, he supported Big Play, supported the network. So like, I'll always root for, Missouri as long as he's there.
Nick, you're a notorious Akron hater.
I am.
Are you still going to bet Arizona minus the spread? What is it, 14.5?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've got all day to tomorrow. Ask me that tomorrow, and we'll see how the sportsbook bankroll's looking after today. I'm a little bit worried. Last March, guys, like we were doing a lot of stuff with Tipico at the time, like. Last March was not friendly to your boy. So like we need a good day today. That's just come on. Could we manifest that for the show?
Yeah, you got to manifest.
All 3 of us to have a really good day today. So tomorrow we could take a little bit more liberties and we could do some hater bets later in the evening and take Arizona minus the 14.
You also, if you start out slow betting on day 1 of March Madness, it doesn't kill March Madness, but that's when you get into the 1-800 gambler line is when you start trying to double it up and get back the next day. Like you can't be doing that. So that's my biggest caution out there is if you're betting today on Thursday for March Madness, be careful. A little bit careful with your funds. Feel out the slate, like just like you're playing in a March Madness game yourself. Like the first part of the game is a little bit rocky sometimes. Like slow into it. Friday bet.
Jack, like look at the first couple of games, and we talked about it. Creighton Louisville, an 8 versus 9 toss up.
Ryan Kalkbrenner, man.
Let's chill into that one. Let's not
maybe like how about like a first half over or something or maybe Kalkbrenner, that kid's back. I love him from Creighton.
And like $10. Like
maybe like Kalkbrenner to have 10 points. I don't even know if you can do player props in college.
Not
That could be
here.
Not in
illegal.
Ohio.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. Redacted.
You can go right
Redacted.
over, I think, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania,
You
you
can.
can
Okay,
Right.
or we could take a little trip, be back
Down the
by
turnpike.
If we left right now, we could be back by 12:15.
Such an easy drive, dude. Such an easy drive. All right, we got to take a break. I'm not going to force you guys to say who you think's cutting down the nets. I'm going to give my
I'll say
pick.
it. Yeah,
okay.
we have
Because we
to.
got to do it today, because if we do it tomorrow, it's kind of,
Yeah.
it's less meaningful.
I'll scan in the break.
Okay.
By my team.
We'll give you who we think's cutting down the nets in San Antonio when we get back here on The Big Factor. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to The Big Factor here on the Big Play Sports Network. Ryan, Tyler, Jack O'Rourke, Nick Padone. Again, huge thank you to John Fanta. He joined us earlier on the show. If you didn't get the chance, it'll be on X. Put it in the app. You'll get a chance to go back and watch it so you can make your bracket buzzer beaters, because that man knows his ball. All right, we're talking about champions here. Before the games tip off today, we have to give who we think's cutting down the nets. Jack, I'll let you go first. You haven't really filled out your bracket yet. You're doing a
No,
real
not
buzzer
really. I
beater.
have not filled out a
This-
bracket.
Jack-
yeah.
But
doing
you
like
have a
genuine-
champion to pick.
Do you
I-
need to do you have a bracket pool to join? Like, do your friends do March
I do have
Madness?
friends.
Okay.
Yes. I will. I will.
Well, I
I
don't
will
know.
confirm being a bracket challenge.
All right. 'Cause
Luckily, I
everybody-
did get asked.
All right,
yeah.
all right. Cool. I was about to extend an invite. If not,
That's
'cause-
worth-
Oh, well, I appreciate that. I want
That's
to do one
worse
with you
than-
guys.
that's
Should we do one
worse-
for the show together?
Sure.
I mean,
That, and yeah, we post it. That's like worse than going to prom alone. Is nobody
having
invites
no one
you
to do a bracket
to their
challenge.
bracket
with.
challenge.
I
with.
feel bad because there might be one person out there who that's the case. If that is the case, please
Hit
DM
us
me
up,
on
man.
something.
Yeah,
and we can
DM
do
us.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah, we can
DM
do it.
us.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can. Or if anyone wants to do a Big Factor bracket challenge, we can do like a 7-person bracket challenge. It'd be
Oh,
awesome. But yeah, I was talking to my buddy Jack Whalen last night on the phone, who is the basketball guru of my life. If I need anything, I go to that man, Jack Whalen. And he's telling me Houston, man, that's my story for the day. Houston's a team who I love riding with them. Like when I bet on March Madness, I tend to ride with Houston because they're a strong defensive team. They get their boards, as we've talked about before. I forget the name of their coach, Sampson, I believe.
Ralph
I
Sampson,
could be,
yep.
Is it, oh, it's Ralph. Okay, yeah, well, great coach. And this year the team's a bit different, though, is the rumor that I've heard. They're more of an offensive threat than past years. They used to kind of beat you like those low-scoring games.
still
Now
do.
they can lay a three a bit. They're still a low-tempo team, but they're going to get their boards. They don't have an easy region by any means, but they're a one seed who I love to ride with. Let's bring back Phi Slamma Jamma.
I'll go next because, Jack, you're a smart man. I also have Houston cutting down the nets.
Oh, wow.
Defense wins championships, guys. They have held opponents under 50 points 9 times. I believe 19 times under 60 points. You mentioned Ralph Sampson, one of the best coaches in college. Hasn't gotten it done, so he might not have the respect yet of the guys who perennially are cutting down the nets, like your Krzyzewskis and Selfs and whatnot. But Ralph Sampson is a damn good coach coming from Indiana. When he took over Houston, they've immediately been a powerhouse in NCAA. I think this is the year they get it done. I mentioned the defense. They don't have a crazy player like a Cooper Flag, but I don't think you necessarily need that. You need
Strength
team
in numbers.
defense. I mentioned the defensive stats, and you mentioned the bracket. It's not that difficult for Houston to get to the Final Four. Like Gonzaga, I understand,
That's
but
the one
listen,
that-
it's
that's
not
where I have
Gonzaga
him
pass.
getting-
Sweet 16s, though, dude. 10 straight Sweet 16s.
Then you get maybe Clemson, okay, and then it's Tennessee you got to beat, and I think they can beat them.
No,
and then I have
Wofford.
Houston. I have Houston beating I have Houston beating Florida in the NCAA championship. So I have the kind of reverse of Fanta. He has Florida over Houston. I have Houston over Florida.
I got the Zags pulling an upset.
I thought you were
going
gonna
to
say the Zips.
against Houston.
I was like, I thought you were gonna say you have the Zips going all the way.
And then my champion is Duke. I went with the chalk pick. I think I pick Duke like every year. So then when I was thinking about doing it, I was like, maybe not this year, but I feel like this is the year where it's actually like feasible to do it because they're so talented. I feel even better about my pick after what Fanta said about not really needing Cooper Flag, which is crazy. You know, that's your freshman unicorn that scored 19 points a night.
Leads Duke in every single statistic.
And you don't need him,
Really?
which shows
That's
yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah.
He's
And-
Jokic.
yeah,
Yeah.
he is, and it just shows you how deep they are. So when I was filling this thing out, I've got a Duke, Kentucky on that side in the Final Four. I think that would be kind of like what America would want, with Duke getting the nod over St. John's in the championship.
Can I give you my not so fast, my
Giannis.
friend, though? VJ Edgecombe and those Baylor Bears, they're coming this weekend to knock Duke out.
Your bold
He's
prediction.
going to be a top 5 pick.
Your bold prediction was he was going to break the NCAA scoring record for a game in a March Madness game, right?
It might come against Duke.
They're going to need it.
That's crazy.
They're going to need it.
They
Top
are
5
gonna need
pick.
it. Cooper
Franchise player.
Duke, it's like it's so hard to bet Duke. You get like Duke fatigue, and then they always seem to let you down. I think
They
last
do.
time
That's
they won
Michigan
was
State
15
for me, man.
Last time they won, I believe, was 15 when they had Okafor, if I'm not mistaken. So it's been a decade since they've won. We'll see if they can get it done. All right, 2 Houstons and a Duke we got here on the show. All right, that's our show today for the Big Factor. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Huge shout out to John Fanta. He's got to be absolutely buzzing. You talk about a busy day. He's got to be on so many
I can't believe you
podcasts.
fit us in.
I
Thank you
appreciate
again.
him giving us the
Yeah.
time of the day. Great stuff from him. We'll be back tomorrow, same people, same time, to recap round 1 of today and preview the games tomorrow, which most importantly, Akron, Arizona, which John Fanta has the upset there. A lot of people do, actually, as a matter of fact.
Not me.
Everybody, go fill out your brackets if you haven't, like Jack. Enjoy the games. This is one of the best days on the sports calendar, really sports weeks on the calendar. I can't wait for it to tip off. Everybody, have a wonderful day. Go fill out those brackets. Peace out.